So, good afternoon. I hope everyone's safe and healthy. Thank you for your time. We're going to make the best of it. We have about 40 minutes, it looks like, to play with. So, we'll get you there. This is a very brief, I hate to use the term crash course in DriverZED, but a brief introduction into the How to Drive 15th edition curriculum. It is built around participant-centered learning, so the students will be involved and engaged in almost every aspect of this. If you're a lecture-based trainer, you might struggle with this a little bit, but once you get going, you're going to realize, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Really have a good time in the classroom with the students. Before I go into the what of how we built it, I want to show you a few of the little things that we built into it. The first is our SnapDrive exercises. Now, these exercises are very short snippets of a photograph. They'll show up for about 2.5 to 3 seconds, and then they're going to disappear. You, as the instructor, will hold a conversation with your students on what they saw and what they can do, to combat the situation of what they saw. When we think about driving on the road, we really only have seconds to figure out, okay, there's a situation, what am I going to do? This is designed to reinforce that. I can tell a student all day long, hey, come up on a fire truck, here's the procedure. And I can list that procedure in bullet point form on a PowerPoint, top to bottom. The students can sit and write it down all day long, but they're not going to remember it. Okay? If you can show them an image, you can involve them in that process, they will remember that information. This is what the research shows. So the old adage, tell me, I'll forget. Show me, I might remember, but if you involve me, I will understand. And that is the key, isn't it? To get them to understand what we're doing. So let's look at the first one here. All right, what'd you see? Truck in the emergency lane. What else did we see? How many lanes were there? Okay, multiple lanes. Anyone know what kind of truck it was? It's broken down, so. Chevy. Probably Chevrolet. I'm a Ford guy, sorry. It's one of those things. So this is the information you're going to get from your students in the classroom. So you're right, yeah, there's a truck broken down, there's a car. The oil can underneath the front of that truck. So, probably either leaking oil or it's got some kind of repair going on. But here's what most people miss. There's actually a guy standing on the tire on the side of that truck. Now, if someone in the truck, like me, because I have issues, might blow a horn, that guy's going to fall backwards. Or if he gets shocked by something, he's going to fall backwards in the traffic. So my students are going to hopefully recognize something like this. And they'll say, oh, well, I should move over a lane. I should slow down, give more space. That's the whole concept behind this. So let's try another one now that you kind of understand what's going on. All right, what's going on here?
I'll turn my next.
Oh, we have oncoming traffic broke down. Are you sure? Okay. What else did we see?
Narrow road.
Sure. Narrow, very, very tight situation there. Orange cones. Go ahead. 2 cars coming back towards me. This is really, really tight. Now, what should I do? How should I manage this situation? What would you do?
If you can eliminate one of the obstacles, only handle one obstacle at a time.
Okay, separate the driving task. Okay, very good. What else? can slow down a little bit, and again, this goes to the separating and all that. So you're getting all this information from your students. Right? They're doing your work for you. I believe they do the work for me. I like that idea. Anything they miss, we give you all the information to fill in the holes. If they miss a bullet point or something, you have all this information in the PowerPoint slide in the speaking notes right now. I'll show that to you in just a little bit. So all you do as the instructor is you click it again, the image comes up. You got the orange barrels, you got the truck, you got the narrow space. The one that always got me is I thought the vehicles were broken down. But if you actually look all the way far down and to the left, it's actually an intersection. But it looks like they're broken down coming at you. When we originally wrote this, we wrote it as vehicles were broken down because that's what we thought too. And then we zoomed it in like 200 times. We're like, oh, wait a minute, we were wrong. So that's one of those little tweaks we're making to the program. We are believe it or not, we're revising this program just a little bit. We are enhancing it. One of the biggest things we are doing to enhance the program, and if you're not using it, you don't know any better yet. But the slide decks have been locked, they've been secured, so you can't modify them. We are now unlocking the slide decks, so you guys have the ability to go in and modify the slides. And we'll have directions on how to do that without messing things up. The other thing we are doing, and this I will take full responsibility, it was an oversight. We are adding closed caption to every single video embedded into the PowerPoint. All of our videos are embedded. You don't need a DVD anymore. And closed caption right as we speak is being added right now. So that's actually a huge thing. Oversight. I take responsibility. I built the PowerPoint. Another piece we added were BamCams. So we work with a company called Lytics, or Drive. It used to be DriveCam. They're now Lytics. AAA has exclusivity on these videos. We are the only curriculum that has these in the nation. And we are the only curriculum that will have these in the nation. And we own the digital rights to them. And these are about 50 videos with teens experiencing non-injury crashes. So there's no blood and gore in these. These are just teens messing up. They agreed to have cameras put in the car. None of this is staged. All of this is real time, real life. Let's take a look at one of them here. Looks better. The only thing I have to say is those better have been some really good French fries, like Five Guys or something like that. Because, as we saw in the video, this is a discussion you will have with your students of, what was going on before the crash. Well, she was obviously distracted looking for food. She was looking down. But the piece that got me is even after the incident, she's still stubbing her face full of French fries. So they must have been pretty good. Let's try another. This one's a little scary. I've witnessed people driving by school buses, and it angers me so. My children are past, the school age now. My son's 19, and our daughter's 28. So they don't have to ride the school bus anymore. My son's working, daughter's working, daughter's getting married. I'm so happy.
You watch together,
Sure can.
that's school, sorry.
Yeah.
City bus.
Now, remember, in urban areas, they use city bus for schools. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So, the girl was not watching. She was not paying attention. to those kids. And kids are unpredictable. We know this. This is what we teach. They're going to run out into traffic. But when people see this, they get the, and hopefully that, oh, it couldn't happen to me goes away from your teen driver, because it can happen to them. It happened to these two, to this person. Again, nothing is staged in these. So let's talk a little bit about what we built. The How to Drive 15th curriculum, 15th edition curriculum, is the only curriculum in the nation that meets the national standards for driver education and curriculum. The only one, and that's 45 hours of curriculum. There's no way you can teach all 45 hours here. We know that. When you use the curriculum, we give you a Slim Jim document. That's what we call it. And it takes the curriculum down to 30 hours. Suggested edits, things to remove. You'll need to take it a little further, depending on the state need, to get it down to, I think it's 27 you guys have here, 26, 27 hours. So just a little bit more tweaking to get it down to that size. What we have built, well, we added content on distractions, the Dutch reach, which is taking your inboard hand, your right hand, and you're actually going to reach over to the door handle. And by doing this, you're physically turning the body. It forces you to look over your shoulder. So hopefully you don't open the door into a bicyclist or a motorcycle or a car. It forces you to look. And that's called the Dutch reach. We have very good increased information on cannabis or marijuana driving. This is not a don't do drugs campaign. This is a if you smoke pot and drive, here is how it will affect your driving. That's the line we take. Right? We know I'm not a social worker. And my job is to educate people on what I know and what we know about doing cannabis, smoking marijuana, and driving. There's a lot of information coming out. This state is a medical marijuana state, correct? Don't be surprised, you're going to start seeing pushes for the recreational use of cannabis. We're seeing it in Florida right now. I think it's in a special session to have the recreational side approved. It's not going to stop. There's far too much money. Recreational cannabis is, I think, a $1.6 billion industry in the U.S. alone right now, and it is growing. Excuse the pun. I can't help myself. We have information on getting pulled over by a police officer, what to do, what not to do if you get pulled over. The original title of this, and before production, was how not to get shot by a cop. And that obviously didn't make final production. So it's what to do in case you are pulled over. So we just want to keep it nice and clean. Slow down, move over is another piece that AAA was instrumental in getting put into statute for tow truck drivers. So we worked with American Towman and combined slow down, move over for towing fleet, emergency, ambulance, any emergency vehicle on the side of the road is now nationwide. Every single state has it, a slow down, move over law now. And we pushed very hard. We lose over 100 tow truck drivers a year being hit by people on the side of the road while doing their job, while servicing vehicles. And then, of course, probably one of the biggest topics, it's got its own chapter, is vehicle technology. There are so many technologies. This curriculum standards call for 90 references to 90 different vehicle technologies. And we're not talking about ABS and airbags. We are talking about collision avoidance, collision mitigation, lane keeping assist, pedestrian warning, which I have a video for that will probably blow your minds. And again, just the gamut of vehicle tech. Since we developed this, more vehicle tech has come out. So we'll be adding that into some tweaks as we move forward. All right, one of the other pieces we did was, again, getting students to recognize where to look at any given time. We know this is one of the hardest things we do as instructors. So we developed the target zone exercises. And this image is going to come up. You will ask your students what zone or zones they should mainly focus their searching in. Again, I can put up a picture with a bunch of words and say, look here, look here, look here, look here. But if I can get my students to recognize that information, they will retain that information so much more. So here, this is an image, it's in the program. In this scene, please select what zone or zones where you should mainly focus your searching. So who wants to take a guess?
1 and 2.
We got 1 and 2. Anything else from the back? No, 1 and 2 is all.
5 and 6, 4, 5 and 6.
Sure, 4, 5. I'm a motorcyclist. 4, 5, and 6 scares me. But I'll get to that in just a second. So 1 and 2 are the primary. We've got the construction vehicle up there in the upper left, and then a construction worker right behind it in zone 2. However, we do not discount zones 4, 5, and 6. That gravel, that sand is probably a hole cut in the road that goes all the way across. That will drop a motorcycle. Now, as a motorcyclist, and if I've done my due diligence, I saw that well in advance. So that's why it's not mainly focused you're searching on, but certainly should never be discounted. How about this one? What zone or zones should you mainly focus your searching? You takers? I know it's after lunch. What's that?
7, 8, 9.
Sure, 7, 8, and 9, absolutely. Again, primary is 8 and 9 because that's my intended path of travel. However, I don't discount 7 either because I've seen people come from 4 lanes over, cut right across into oncoming traffic. I've seen it, it happens. So you certainly can't discount it, it's not wrong. What we have noticed with our students, this is obviously very active in the business now. The student engagement when using these types of exercises, the SnapDrives, the BamCams, the target zones, the student interaction goes up about 75 to 80% in the classroom. You got those sitting soakers that'll sit in the back of the class, not really want to be involved. They're now all of a sudden involved. They're like, oh, wait a minute, what about that? And what about that? So now you've got them. They look forward to these. We have a guy that uses these in a course where our program is not approved, but he uses this to subsidize material in his course. And his students love it. They're like, oh, do we have more target zones today? Do we have more SnapDrives today? And if he says no, they're like, oh, they really want to see this stuff. Now, when using the target zone exercises, the students will actually see 2 sets. On the first set, you're going to ask your students where they should mainly focus their searching. They will put that information right here in the student workbook. So they'll write in those zone or zones. All that information corresponds with the right-hand side in your instructor guide. So we give you all of the speaking notes. We don't want to leave you hanging and trying to figure things out. All of the speaking note information is in your speaking notes in the PowerPoint slide. It's already all embedded for you. So if it's in the instructor guide, it is also in the PowerPoint. Kind of sticking with the student workbook, Each chapter starts with 5 pre-quiz questions or pre-chapter questions. Those students then answer those questions in the same spot in every chapter. This is where they're going to write their answers up under the chapter number. And then you'll review it with your students. These are all in PowerPoint. We've also added the interview with an experienced driver exercise. So here we want the students to go talk with their parent, mentor, or guardian about their driving history, their driving life. What type of things did they encounter? Do they do that, you probably shouldn't do? Or the good also. There's definitely plenty of positives. We also have a vehicle inventory sheet. So we know that our students are probably driving multiple vehicles at home. And each vehicle is a little bit different in terms of the technology in it. So we want our students to be able to identify that. Also, some skills that you hopefully carry over long term. So we have, check your tire pressure. This is something I'm a stickler for in my house. I actually have my kids. They did 100 hours of DriverZED with me. Imagine that. It's a really long 100 hours before I let them go get their driver's license. And one of the very first things they had to do was do their walk around. And depending on the day, they had to check the tire pressure. And now it is a habit for them. My son, again, is 19. My daughter's 28. They still do it to this day. So I thought that was pretty cool. Also, within the workbook, we put a parent coaching guide. Now, we are not trying to turn parents into driving instructors. In fact, as driving instructors, we're trying to train their parents' bad habits out of them, are we not? We get them and they're holding the wheel up here at 12 o'clock, and they got the seat all kicked back. We got to train all that garbage out of them. But given the proper tools, they can at least get started. So here we just give them some basic do's and don'ts, some tips, and then some basic things to do on the lesson. Again, we are not trying to turn them into driving instructors. I don't think it would go well. And we give them a driving log, so they can go in and write down their hours. They can go to our website, download more sheets for more hours, just to keep track. Within the curriculum, we also have a textbook, fully revised, cover to cover. As you can see here, this is one of the biggest things we got is, all your photos are in Florida. We're from Florida. Well, this, folks, is not from Florida. We travel the country, we take photos. Ask Mike, who I traveled down here with. I worked with Mike. And I've got the camera going. We're just taking pictures of all the roadway signs that are around here, different traffic situations. That's the kind of stuff we do to build our material, because we don't want it all localized to where we live. That doesn't do you guys any good. And if it snows in Florida, I'm leaving town. I'm going to Aruba, where it's about 75 year round. I don't do the snow anymore. We have a fully integrated instructor guide, and this helps with navigating the course. Again, we went to the next level, took all the information in the instructor guide, and we married it to the PowerPoint slides. So here's a couple other games or exercises that we have put into the program. This one is a matching game. Now remember, match game, you flip the card over, if you get the right 2, then you get the point. Well, you can do the same thing with your students, except we're going to do it in PowerPoint electronically. If anyone knows anything about PowerPoint and what it takes to build this, hopefully you have just a little empathy for me, because this was not fun to build. So what you're going to do is you're just going to click it. And let's see, I'm going to click this one over here. And yeah, that is not idle acceleration. So I click it again, I put them back. All right, so let's try again. Oh, look, this is idle acceleration. Okay, simply releasing the pressure. Now, because I like my instructors that I work with, I've done two things. We've made all of them, again, the flip back and forth. So if you know anything about building PowerPoint like this, there's, I think, 76 different transitions to make all of this work, to make the signs flip back and forth nice and smooth. It is an animal to build. But the other thing I did, and this is really for the instructors, the students aren't going to realize it until a little bit later, is I color coded all the correct answers for you. So you don't have to be like, wait a minute, is that the right one? You'll know right off the bat if the colors match, then the cards match. The students get the point. You're not fumbling through trying to remember everything. As I've gotten older, I realized I can't remember everything. So I have to give myself little clues. So this is just one of the things that's built into the program. Another one is our sign color quiz. So we're all driving instructors. I assume we all know the colors to our signs. Let's see. If I were to ask you what color this sign is, you might say,
Green.
sure, green. How about this one? Interesting. How about this one?
Yellow and black.
Ooh, not a consensus on this one. We've got white, we've got yellow. And if you click it again, the colors appear. So we got green, green, and yellow. So all of this is just built in with a click of a mouse. We make it nice and easy. It's a great visual for your students. Let's try another. What color might this detour sign be? Okay. How about the 8-sided one? Sure, I hope y'all got that one right. How about this round one? What color might that be? Right here in the back? Blue. Blue, very good. Again, you click it again, and you've got the orange, the red, and the blue. Now, for years, I had said the only round die-cut sign was a railroad sign. But, again, I was wrong. This one came out, and this is actually a round die-cut sign. So I had to change up, how we did things. And not only did we do signs, we did roadway markings. So what might this red roadway marking indicate? Huh? Emergency. I'll give you fire lane. Interesting thing about parking in a fire zone or fire lane zone is the fire department has the right to go through your vehicle. You have no legal recourse against the fire department. You were foolish enough to park in front of a fire hydrant. You're lucky they didn't just push it out of the way. But you have no legal recourse against them doing this. You're the one who parked where you shouldn't have been. And this is actually courtesy of Anaheim Police or Fire Department. How about this one? What does green indicate? You guys got some of these around here, I think. How about a bike lane? I know they're down in up in Idaho, over in Idaho. How about this burgundy? What might that indicate? Right? What else? Burgundy. Starts with a B, it's 3 letters, ends with an S. Okay, you guys are killing me here. It is a bus lane. Not every state has it. Right? But you have to remember your students are not going to be only driving in the state of Utah. They're eventually going to venture out into other states. So our job is to prepare them for that. Now, another piece we have in the program is our DriverZED, or zero error driving. This is a RAPT, or R-A-P-T, risk awareness prevention training program. It was developed by University of Massachusetts, and we were able to get the rights to use it within our program. The preliminary testing done with this by UMass with a group of students showed a 20% reduction in crashes of that group. 20% reduction. Ladies and gentlemen, in our world, 20% is massive. Imagine if every state could drop their fatality rate or their injury rate, their risk rate by 20%. Oh my gosh. Imagine that. I just want to show you how this works, and then I have a little update on it. So this is built in PowerPoint. You have it in your program. What it is this, you're going to ask the student, look for the area on the scene where you believe a hazard which is not visible might appear. Now, I see these people over here on the left. If I were to click them, oh, no, said I'm sorry. That's not what I needed to click on. I hit the next button down here in the lower right corner. It brings me back to the scene. And I'm going to say, how about here on the crosswalk in front of the truck? Oh, look, hey, I got it right. You must know what I'm doing. Or I've done this a couple times. I'm going to hit next, and to reinforce it, it's going to make me do it again. So I'm going to click the correct spot again, and then it's going to move me to a simulation, which shows me what I just did. We didn't build the process. We just enhanced the slides. So the research version of this was very ugly. This is 100 times better. Now, for you guys, we're going to take it one step further. We have built this in an online format, just for the DriverZED. The goal is to have your students eventually, and I can't give you a date when we're releasing it, we're still working on the logistics of it, but you can assign this for homework, kind of like Start Smart for your students. So they can actually go online. It's about 2 hours of training. You can assign it for homework over the course of your class. And the graphics, the visuals, the interaction, the experience is far closer to the research version. And it is so much cleaner, crisper, clearer. It actually looks really, really good. So we have a very robust set of PowerPoints built into this program. We'll say well over 1,000 slides. So when you get the program, you'll download it. You can download it off our website. I recommend you save it to a hard drive. I have mine saved on this. This is a 500 gig hard drive. The PowerPoint slides might are what, 30 gig? 25. They run about 25, 30 gigs. So there's a lot of data. If you put it just on your computers, it's gonna chew up a lot of space. That's why we recommend the external hard drive or a high capacity thumb drive. With the instructor guide, again, should you choose to use it, because all the notes are now in the PowerPoint, you can see that the instructor guide is really built with the student-centered learning model in mind. Everything is in the form of a question. So for instance, I'll ask my students, what kind of surfaces could you find yourself driving on? I'm looking for my students to give me all the bullet point answers. I don't want to do that much work. I'll get lazy when I get old. So the more information they can give me, the better. But what they don't give me, I can fill in because I have all the information in front of me. And then you move on. It's that simple. It's that Q&A, Q&A. Let's keep going, keep them involved and engaged. The program is divided up into segments. So you can see here on the left, this segment corresponds with our launch pad on our PowerPoints. Each PowerPoint has a launch pad in it, which if I click a button and say I want to go to GDL, I just click GDL and it takes me to that point within the PowerPoint slide deck. And if I want to go back, there's a way to do that, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So like I said, we do have, quite a robust slide deck. I built this launch pad specifically for this program. So it's all queued up and programmed the way it's supposed to be. So if I wanted to go to a sign flip game, I click the tab and it would take me to wherever that sign deck is in the slide deck. If I decide, oh, that's not where I wanted to go, all I have to do is click the upper left-hand corner of the slide. The entire program is wired like this. And it will take me right back to the launch pad. So from here, I can navigate anywhere in the course I want to go without having to scroll through a bunch of slides. It looks sloppy when you do that. We're trying to make it so it doesn't look sloppy. So it looks like, oh, it's intentional. So if you're scrolling through slides, the students could be wondering, well, what am I missing? What's he scrolling through? Here, they don't know any better. Now, for those of you that may or may not know this, I know it was something that was taught to me when we were building it. When you're in presenter mode like I am, say I'm on slide 50 and I want to go to slide 100. All I have to do is type in the number 100. I don't have to type it in anywhere but on the keyboard and hit enter, and it will take me right to slide 100. But I have to know that's where I need to go. So if you know the next slide number you want to use and you're going to skip some, as long as you know the slide number, you just put it in, hit enter, you're there. It's that simple. We embedded all the videos. One of the, like I mentioned, one of the enhancements we're making, and I think the responsibility is we'll be adding closed captioning. So they sound pretty good.
The infamous driver's license. What does it mean to have a license to drive? To most drivers, regardless of their age, it means freedom to come and go when and where they please. It means more choices and more opportunity.
I'm not going to play the whole video. So all of our videos are in there. You also notice a lot of our videos have motorcycles in them. When I started riding a motorcycle, our videos did not have motorcycles in them. Now, all of our videos have motorcycles in them because I want to raise that awareness. Can't drink water with cat. This is just a little bit of what our slides look like, some simple builds. They're just click-through points. You'll notice there's not many. There's only about 3 or 4 per slide. You will not see slides full of words because that is not how students learn. They see that and they're going to turn it off. They don't want to be involved with it anymore. So we keep it short and sweet. Now here's what you see as the presenter. So if you're in presenter mode, this is what I see up here when I'm presenting to you all. So on the left is what the student sees. On the top right is my next slide, or in this case, the next bullet point for the build. And then underneath that are the speaking notes for the slide that's being shown. Every single slide is set up like this for you. So all your speaking notes, everything are right there. You don't have to go back and forth from the book to the slide, from the book to the slide. All that goes away. If you've never done it this way, there is a little bit of a learning curve. Not a big one, but enough where you should practice it before you go. Just a couple other slides. This one we were able to go to a mock DUI. If you've ever had the opportunity to attend one, please do. They are worth going to. But you can't, if I didn't tell you, you wouldn't know that was just all mocked up. It was just all fake. Well, the fire department comes in, they brought in the helicopters. It was pretty awesome. And then, of course, vehicle tech. One of the biggest chunks we built was vehicle technology. And there's no voiceover in the next video I'm going to show you. It's strictly just a demonstration of pedestrian collision avoidance. One of the newest technologies out there, we've all seen the commercials, little Billy runs out into the street, the car stops before killing it. All right, we've all seen the commercials. Problem is, it's not reality. Here's the reality. So again, the only audio is car sounds on this. Whew. The biggest thing with technology, so here's what we found. The pedestrian collision avoidance systems, these are brand new vehicles. When we tested them, I believe it was 2019. Brand new off the lot. Nobody'd ever driven them before. They worked only 40% of the time. No automobile manufacturer will tell you that. The other thing they won't tell you is at night, it was 100% failure rate. 100%. These things fail. All right, that is huge. After we tested, we went to the dealers, we went to the manufacturers, directly to Ford and all the other manufacturers we worked with. And they were like, yeah, that sounds about right. We need that. That's not what your commercials did, though, is it? So there's that falsification there that we really want to raise that awareness to our students that yes, technology is there, but do not ever rely on it. Drive as if you do not have it. It's basically there in case you mess up. That's what the technology is there for in many cases. So that's a big, huge piece. Again, just some other images from that. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I've reached my 50-minute mark. That was the fastest 50 minutes of my day, I believe. Are there any questions? If you don't have the curriculum and you need the curriculum,
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I didn't see any hands go up, right? So none of you are having it. So if you need to order or get materials, give a lottery. Just let her know, have X number of instructors, and there's a package that you get for every instructor. Basically, it's instructor guide, 36 books. They're the hardcover books, they're the really durable ones, and 36 workbooks. So just deal with auditors, say, hey, I need a set of books. She sends it to me, you'll have it about 3 or 4 days after I get that order. Okay, so I want to make sure you all do that. Thanks.
and folks, if you have any questions, write down my information here. I've got some business cards, you can need them as well. But again, I'm Richard Chidester, so it's rchidester@national.aaa.com. You get this curriculum. If you need some more tutorials, hey Rich, I've got a question about this. Email me. If I need to, I will set up a Zoom meeting with you within days. May only be 20 or 30 minutes. It's maybe all we need. But I will work with you. I want to make sure you guys have the tools you need. So with that, thank you very much for your participation.